Have you ever imagined what it would be like to live a life free from the constant weight of fear? A life where you face challenges with serenity, confidence, and mental clarity. What if I told you that the ancient teachings of Buddha, which have guided millions around the world, could be the key to overcoming your limitations and transforming fear into wisdom? Today, we are going to explore 7 powerful Buddhist lessons on how to stop fearing, embrace life with courage, and achieve the freedom you deserve. These lessons will not only help you understand fear, but also overcome it, allowing you to break free from the chains of anxiety and live with more confidence. Ready to take the first step toward your transformation? Let's start with these 7 transformative lessons. 1. Embrace impermanence. Buddha taught us that everything in life is impermanent. Our thoughts, emotions, and even our fears are transient. Fear and anxiety arise when we resist change, when we cling to the idea that things should remain exactly as they are. What do we fear losing? Our jobs, our health, our loved ones? These losses trigger panic and distress. However, the truth is that life is in constant flux, and the only certainty is change. Impermanence is one of the fundamental truths of Buddhism. When you understand that everything is temporary, including your fears, you begin to let go of the need to control. There's no longer a need to hold on to the illusion that everything should stay the same. Instead of fearing the unknown, you can begin to accept change as a natural part of life. The suffering you feel right now will pass, just like your anxiety and fears. When you embrace impermanence, you stop getting lost in projections of catastrophic futures that will likely never happen. Instead of imagining the worst, you begin to live more serenely, trusting that things will transform over time. If you're enjoying this content, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Share this video with your friends so more people can break free from fear and live with courage and freedom. 2. See the illusion of fear. Buddha taught us that much of what we experience is an illusion created by our mind. Fear is often based on our imagination, on the what-ifs of the future, on scenarios that never come true. When we recognize that fear is often a product of our thoughts, not reality, we begin to distance ourselves from the stories our minds create. And in that space, fear loses its power. Imagine this. You are standing at the edge of a cliff, your heart racing, palms sweating. But what's really happening? Are you falling? No. Are you in danger? No. What's happening is that your mind is anticipating something that doesn't even exist. Fear is like a shadow. It disappears when you shine the light of awareness on it. Every time you step into something new, fear appears. But fear is not stopping you. It is signaling that you are about to grow. Fear is not an obstacle. It is a lesson. 3. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment. Fear often exists in the past or the future, creating stories in our minds. When we bring our attention back to the present moment, through conscious breathing or observing our surroundings, we create space between ourselves and fear. We realize that fear is just a passing thought, not an unshakable truth. Mindfulness develops mental stability, allowing you to stay calm, even in the face of fear. When you are fully present, you don't react impulsively to every fearful thought that arises. Instead, you can pause, observe, and decide how to respond. When fear arises, practice observing it with detachment without attaching to it. This creates the necessary distance to choose how to react, rather than being swept away by your impulses. 4. Understand the nature of suffering. In Buddhist teachings, the nature of suffering, or dukkha, is a central idea. Suffering is inevitable and universal. Fear, anxiety, and worry are just forms of suffering that arise when we face uncertainty or loss. When we understand that suffering is a natural part of life, we can free ourselves from the idea that it's something personal, something that only happens to us. Fear is a form of suffering that everyone experiences at some point. Understanding that fear is not something unique, but a shared experience among all human beings can lighten the burden it carries. When we realize that fear is part of the natural flow of life and that everyone faces it, it becomes less intimidating and more of an opportunity for learning. Fear loses its intensity when we see it as something temporary, something that everyone faces, and therefore something we don't need to carry alone. 5. Let go of attachment. One of the most powerful teachings of Buddhism about overcoming fear is the concept of letting go of attachment. Attachment is the relentless desire to control or possess something, whether it's a person, an object, or even our own identity. Fear arises from attachment, the fear of losing what we consider essential for our happiness or security. When we understand how to release attachment, we free ourselves from anxiety and fear. Letting go doesn't mean not caring, but rather recognizing that true security doesn't come from external control, but from our ability to adapt and grow. Detachment allows us to accept life's impermanence without feeling threatened by it. When we free ourselves from attachment, we can live with more peace and freedom, knowing that we are not defined by outcomes or the security of our possessions. 6. Cultivate patience. Patience, or kshanti, is a fundamental virtue in Buddhism for overcoming fear. Fear often arises from impatience, the desire for quick answers, immediate solutions, or control over an uncertain future. When we cultivate patience, we create space for fear to subside and our minds to calm. Patience teaches us to trust the process of life, even when we don't know what's coming. Fear arises when we can't wait, when we want things to happen immediately or according to our own timelines. Patience teaches us to accept time as it is, without rush or pressure. When we become patient, we learn to handle uncertainty and pain more peacefully, recognizing that life has its own rhythm and everything will unfold at the right time. 7. Practice compassion. Compassion, both for ourselves and for others, is one of the most powerful keys to overcoming fear. Often, fear arises from self-criticism, the fear of failure or judgment. When we practice compassion, we learn to treat ourselves with kindness, to embrace our vulnerabilities, and to give ourselves the space to grow without rush. Additionally, by developing empathy for others, the feeling of fear diminishes, because we realize that we are all facing the same challenges and insecurities. Compassion also allows us to free ourselves from the pressure to be perfect or to please others. By understanding that everyone has their internal struggles, the fear of judgment fades. We can move forward with more freedom, knowing that true happiness comes from acting with kindness and being gentle with ourselves. These 7 teachings of Buddha offer a transformative perspective on how to deal with fear and live with more courage, peace, and freedom. Instead of fighting against fear or trying to ignore it, we can learn to understand it, observe it, and transcend it with wisdom and compassion. Did you find these lessons helpful? If so, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Share this video with your friends so more people can break free from fear and live with courage and freedom.